So now the next step is to optimize for the Google Maps. We talked about setting up the website correctly, making sure we got pages for each one of our services. We've optimized those pages so that Google knows what they should be ranked for. Let's talk about getting ranked on the Google Map. This is one of the most common questions that I get from contractors all throughout the United States is, man, it seems like that Google Map is the place to be. It seems like that's where consumers are clicking and looking. That's certainly where I would click and look if I was in need of my services. How do I get ranked on the map when someone types in my city plus my service? And there are really three core components to getting ranked on the Google Map. And if you do these three things correctly, if you do them thoroughly, if you do them well, you can and will start to rank predominantly on page 1 for your service in your market. So the three main things. First, you have to have a claimed and optimized Google Places listing and Google Plus local listing. Second, you have to have consistent, well-established citations of your company's name, address, and phone number across the web. And a citation is really just your name, address, and phone number in an online directory of some sort. And so there are literally hundreds of online directories, but the main ones are Angie's List and City Search and Hot Frog and Yahoo Local and Bing Local. And so if you get your company into these online directories with consistency of your name, address, and phone number, well then you've got more authority in Google's eyes, which is going to improve the probability of ranking on the Google Map. Now the third critical element, and probably one of the more overlooked elements, is online reviews. To rank well on the Google Map, we found the companies that have the most reviews, legitimate reviews from real people, tend to rank best. So you need to have a strategy where you're getting real reviews from your real customers in your real service area so that you have more reviews than your competition. And by having more reviews than your competition, more citations than your competition, having more properly optimized Google Map listing, now you've got more authority and the probability of ranking on the Google Map is significantly higher. So those are the three core elements to getting ranked on the Google Map. So start by going to google.com/places, claiming your listing, updating it. I'm going to share some strategies on how to really update your Google Map listing, how to make sure you've got your keywords in the right places, and make sure that you're not spamming in any way. Claim it, and you're on your way. So you do that at google.com/places. So here's just an example company that we work with in Brooklyn, New York. Again, a very competitive market. Again, a plumbing example. And the company we work with in Brooklyn is called Petrie Plumbing. And when they started with us, they had a website that was thousands and thousands of dollars to build. They had invested in the neighborhood of $3,000 to $4,000 a month for over a year with a high-priced SEO company that promised to get them on the Google Map and promised to get them on Google page 1. And it just never happened. After months and months of shelling out the dollars and waiting, they started to grow frustrated because they were on page 2 and page 3 for their keywords, and they know that the majority of the clicks go to the top 3 listings on page 1. So we were able to come in and implement this strategy of properly claiming the Google Map listing, getting the citations in order with consistency of the name, address, and phone number, and putting a proactive review management system in place. And here's what they experienced. They said, well, we now have page 1 spot A position on Google for our most important keyword, Brooklyn Plumber. They're getting traffic and traffic and calls from customers typing in a variety of keywords. So here's some examples. We go in and we type in Brooklyn Plumber. There they are on spot B on the Google Map. We type in Brooklyn Plumbing. There they are on spot A on the Google Map. So I talked about once you've claimed the Google Map listing, you have to develop citations. And so citations, again, are just web references of your company's name, address, and phone number. The key, though, is there has to be consistency. You can't just put yourself in all these different directories and use a different name or a different phone number across a variety of them. And you might think, well, that's kind of obvious, but this is one of the biggest issues that we're finding with companies that we deal with. We're finding that either they used a service like Yellow Pages or Yodel.com or ReachLocal, and all of these companies wanted to use call tracking numbers. And they went into various directories and they put this tracking number. And so on Angie's List, there's one number. On Yelp.com, there's another number. On Yellow Pages, there's a different number. And all of these numbers ring to the same place. It's not like they're lost leads, but it's creating a lack of consistency in how Google sees this company's name, address, and phone number. Your name, address, and phone number is almost like your thumbprint. It's unique to you, and Google recognizes you as an organization because of the consistency of using that name, address, and phone number. So if you've got that inconsistency where your website says one thing and your Yellow Page listing says another and your Google Map listing says another, your probability of ranking is very, very slim. Now, what you want to do is identify, okay, what's my most authentic company name? And it's as granular as, are you Bill's Roofing or are you Bill's Roofing and Remodeling? And if it's Bill's Roofing and Remodeling, you want to make sure you reference it that way on your website and all of your online directories. And the phone number, use your most authentic number. Don't try and use a tracking number when it comes to these online directory listings. Whatever your primary phone number is, the one that's got the most history behind it, decide that's the one you're going to use. And that's your name, address, phone number profile, and then systematically go into each one of the major online directory sites. And you can find a list with this video, but you want to go into Bing, and you want to go into Yahoo Local, and you want to go into Yellow Pages, and you want to go to local.com, and you want to go to Angie's List, and you want to go to Judy's Book, and you want to go to yellowbot.com, and you want to go to Hot Frog. And in each one of these directories, you want to make sure that you've got that name, address, and phone number, because that's how you start to develop your authority, because Google's seeing consistent references of your company's name, address, and phone number across the web. Now, one of the companies we work with in Naperville, Illinois, was having an issue where he had a lot of directories where his company was listed. And he had a good website with all of the right pages and all the right content, but he just could not rank on the Google map. And it was frustrating for him because he'd done all of the work. He felt like he'd done everything right. And as we start to take a deep dive into his online directories and see what the issue was, we found there was a lack of consistency. Exactly what I was talking about, where this company was referenced one way on Angie's List and a different way on Yellow Pages and a different way on some other review site. And so we went in and we had to roll up our sleeves and go into each one of these directories one by one until we had very concise consistency across the web. And after a few months, we saw him shoot straight to spot A on the Google map. And so if we type in Naperville Plumber, there you'll see right there in spot A is Jim Wagner Plumbing. And if we type in Naperville Plumbing, spot A on the Google map. So having the consistency of your name, address, and phone number is a very key element to getting ranked on the Google map listings. Now, the third element, again, is online reviews. You have to have real reviews from your real customers in your true service area. And the best way to get these reviews is to have a systematic process where you're asking and getting them from your real customers. So I want to place some heavy emphasis here. You don't want to try and game this review process. Don't think that you can set up a Google profile for 5 different people and go in and use that Google profile to write your reviews, or set up a bogus Yelp.com account and a bogus CitySearch.com account and say great things about your company, or have your friends create fake accounts to say great things about your company. That won't work. Google's looking at the reviewer profile and can tell whether the person is a legitimate customer or the legitimate user of their system writing that review based on the history of that specific profile. So you don't want to game the system. That will hurt you more than it will help you. But there are some ways and some things you can do to really ensure this process of getting real reviews from your real customers in your true service area. So I like to take a three-prong approach. The first thing is print up some review cards. Just a business card-sized document that says, hey, thanks so much for your business. We'd really love it if you'd write us a review. And have a page on your website, yourcompany.com/review us, where they can go that has direct links to your review sites. And don't choose hundreds of them, but just pick the main ones: Google, Angie's List, Yelp.com, YP.com. That way the user can get there, determine which review profile they have a legitimate account on, click the link, and write that review for you. And so start to make it a process where after each service call, your technicians are handing out that review card, thanking the customer for their business, and asking them to go ahead and write a review for you online. The other thing you want to do in order to just get a bump right off the start of reviews that you have online is to develop a list of your circle of influence. And so that circle of influence would be your most recent customers, your family members, maybe your friends, people that know, like, and trust you and that you know, like, and trust. Put together a little email that can go out to each one of these, and you can put it in the system like Constant Contact or MailChimp, and just have a brief message that says, hey, we appreciate your loyalty over the years and would really like it if you take a couple minutes to write us a review. And then give them that link to that page on your website where you've got those different review icons where they can choose where they want to write the review, and send that out. Now, you might be surprised how many of your friends and family are willing to spend a few minutes to do you a favor, leveraging their real authentic profile in your service area to get some good quality reviews. Now, hopefully they've done business with you as a friend or a family member, and they're writing something positive about you as a legitimate customer of your services. Now, those two strategies are great, and you definitely want to do them, but the number one thing you want to do to get reviews is have a systematic process where you're sending an email to every one of your new customers after the service, just thanking them for their business, asking them to take a few minutes to write your review. If you put a process like that in place where you're systematically sending some type of message via email so that they can just click a link and follow the process, you're going to see the number of reviews that you have online on the public profiles skyrocket. And those reviews are going to give you the necessary authority to rank really well in your market. So another example of really seeing this play out and seeing a company that wasn't ranking on the Google map shoot to a prominent position on the map was the plumbing doctor in Falls Church, Virginia. And with them, they'd been with the Yellow Pages or Yellow Book, had the Yellow Book build their website and do some stuff for them, and just felt like they hit a roadblock. They weren't ranking in the search engines. They certainly weren't ranking on the Google map, and they were frustrated. We found that the critical element for them was reviews. And so, now if we type in Falls Church Plumber, you'll see them right there in spot A on the Google map. Falls Church Plumbing, you'll see them right there on A on the Google map. But what I really want you to see is the number of reviews. You can see there they've got 39 authentic reviews on the Google map. And this was a function of having that process where they're sending the email after service, customers are able to get to the Google map listing, write a review, and they shot to the top position as a result of those reviews. So reviews are critical for ranking well on the map listings on Google. Well, I hope you got value from that video. If you'd like to get more ideas and insights on how you can really effectively be marketing your contracting or home services business online, I'd like to encourage you to go to contractorseo.net/free. That's contractorseo.net/free. There you can download two things. A video that runs about an hour, I think it runs about an hour and a half, and it's a complete overview of your contracting or home service internet marketing plan. So really, the entire strategy of how you should be marketing your home service business online, covering everything from how to set up your website, how to optimize for the major search engines, how to make sure you're ranking on the Google map, how to leverage social media to its fullest effect to get more repeat and referral business, how you can start to tap into paid online advertising strategies like pay-per-click, pay-per-lead, and online paid directories. So I'm offering that to you completely free of charge. You just need to go to contractorseo.net/free. There you'll get access to the video training as well as a 56-page manual that basically takes the most important information from that guide and really explains to you with screen captures and text how you can implement it in your home services business. So again, just go to contractorseo.net/free and you can download both of those pieces of information completely free of charge.